I'm going to show you a secret in BF 2042 that I don't think a lot of people realize, and those that do know it don't tend to talk about it that often, and I genuinely believe that the majority of the player base don't realize that this is a thing. So first things first, I'm going to show you the thing and I want you to see if you can work it out. So I've got my RM68 assault rifle here. I'm going to aim at the line and I'm going to shoot all of the bullets in the magazine. Oh, there it is. Lovely. RM68, great assault rifle. And then I'm going to strafe across. I'm going to aim at the same point and we're going to do it again. That's weird, isn't it? So the second time we did it, we actually had more recoil. I'd argue that there's a bit more horizontal recoil, that little side to side bounce, but there's also definitely a lot more vertical recoil there. And we'll do it again. Just replicate the thing that we did. And I'm not doing any recoil control here. So on the line, get rid of all those bullets. There it is. We're going to move across to the right hand side. Pay attention. No recoil control again, yet it's bigger. So did anyone manage to work it out? Did anyone figure out what's going on here? You're going to kick yourself if you missed it. But this one, I was using a controller. And this one, I was using a mouse. Controller, mouse. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if you use a controller in BF 2042, you get less recoil on all of the guns in the game than if you were using a mouse. And the thing that I was trying to get you to notice was the user interface. So you see at the moment, I've got the prompts for the Xbox controller. That's because I've got an Xbox controller plugged into my PC. So you can see the Y there, the D-pad, LB, RB. But then if I move my mouse, it switches to the PC controls. So now it's changed to 1, 2, 3, 4, Q, M, and B. And then if I switch back to my controller, it's gone back to the controller prompts. And now I'm going to show you how much of a difference this can make with certain weapons in the game. So here I've got the SVK. It's a marksman rifle. It's got 10 rounds in the mag and 1 in the chamber. And I'm going to aim in here using the controller first. We'll do this little grey line here on the left with controller. And I'm going to shoot as fast as I possibly can. That's all 11 shots. I'm going to fire a bullet. I'm going to reload again so we can get 11 back. And then I'm going to switch to mouse and keyboard and make note of the user interface. It's changed now. I'm on mouse and keyboard. We're going to strafe across. Same distance away. Same position. Here we go. Look at that. That is a huge difference between controller and mouse. It's almost double. I mean, look at this. If you had a couple more shots in the SVK, you'd be all the way up here on the mouse. So why? Why is this happening in BF 2042? Your first thought might be that this is a bug, but I don't think it is because I've tested this with multiple weapons and the result is always the same. And I do think there are a few different reasons for why this is implemented in the game as a mechanic. The first reason is crossplay. BF 2042 has crossplay enabled, which means that PC players who are mostly using a mouse can play with console players. And if you know much about using a mouse, you'll know that in most games it's pretty easy to control recoil by pulling down and in the opposite direction of where the gun is moving. On a mouse, you can turn most of the guns in this game into lasers if you practice enough, even at long distances. Doing that on a standard controller, however, is not so easy. So this does seem like an attempt by DICE to give controller players a recoil advantage to balance the game when they're competing against a player using a mouse. Of course, controller players have aim assist too, which is also another advantage. And this isn't the first time that Battlefield as a franchise has dabbled in different recoil values for console and PC. If my memory serves me correctly, Battlefield Hardline, for example, although that game didn't feature crossplay, it did eventually balance the guns differently for console and PC, giving console players less recoil across the board on most of the guns. So what does all of this mean for 2042? Well, if you play on console and you're very good on a controller, you're already in a pretty good spot. But let's say that you wanted the best competitive experience possible and you have a gaming PC with maximum frames per second and you use low graphics so you can get better visibility, then that may be the way to give yourself the most optimum way to play the game, because you'll have all the advantages of PC and you'll have less recoil on all of your guns versus mouse players and the added bonus of aim assist. It's an interesting topic for sure and something that I don't see discussed that often. In terms of crossplay though, if you're a console player who doesn't want to play with PC players, now might actually be a good time to try with crossplay off on PlayStation, because apparently PlayStation Plus has increased the number of PS4 and PS5 players on BF 2042 by over 500% this month. That's a huge uptick of players on those platforms, so you may be able to find matches quickly now with crossplay disabled. I'm not sure what the situation is like on Xbox because I've got no experience with that, but I imagine that there's more players than ever playing at the moment, so you could try there too. Personally, I won't be switching to controller. I still find it much easier to control recoil with a mouse than I do with an analog stick, despite the recoil advantage in BF 2042. But then again, I'm not a good controller player and I don't have the will or time to practice with it. I also find for me that shooting at longer ranges is much easier on a mouse, as is sniping for hitting those flick shots. And that's all for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you didn't, a dislike. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.